How would you like to bring in a huge cash infusion into your home staging business to end 2024 with a bang? Well, in this episode, I'm going to share with you how to plan for Q4 to be your biggest quarter of the year. Let's dive in. So I can't believe we're in quarter 4 of 2024 already. However, I want you to use this video for every quarter of the year so that you can plan huge cash infusions and reverse engineer how you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve in your business. Now, there are 3 steps to my process to be able to do this, and this is what I implement into every single team meeting that I have, is that I map out these 3 steps. I do a lot of the work before the meeting so that I can come in armed with data and also lay out the plan for my team of how we're going to do it. But today I want to walk you through what that process looks like. If you have a team or you're just a one-man band, then you should be implementing. So the first step of the process is for any meeting, whether this is yearly or quarterly, I want to know my data. So I'm going to use the whiteboard here to really show you what this looks like and why we need to know the data. So knowing your data is so vital in your business. It's a bit like if you were to put into Google Maps where you want to go. If you don't have the starting location for some reason, sometimes it just doesn't autofill, then it will not give you the route to the final destination. It asks you to list where you currently are, right? And it's the same with your business. How can you expect to know how to reach the goal that you want to reach if you don't have a current grip on where you are right now? And I have been here way too many times. I have thought that I've earned more money than I have, or I have earned a lot more money and I much prefer that one. Now I'm in a different position. My team send me monthly stats and I get it from my accountant. But when I was first in the throes of launching my business, I had really no clue. And you might feel the same, like you don't know your numbers either. But this is really vital to your continued business growth. And another reason that I love the numbers and the data is that it's unemotional. And so if you're really emotionally attached to your business or a launch or something, you think it didn't do as well as I thought, or it done better than I thought, and then I looked at the numbers, it just takes the emotion out of the circumstance. And you can look at it with a business hat on rather than the business owner and the business being your baby type hat. So there are 10 different key metrics that I measure when I'm measuring my data, and I'm going to share those with you now. I don't know them off the top of my head, so I'm going to grab them from my screen and I'm going to share with you what these are. So here they are. We've got gross profit, which is the total revenue from your staging services minus the cost of goods sold. So we do this on a job by job basis. We'll work out what we earned, what we spent on that job. Net profit, so the amount of money left after all expenses have been deducted from your gross profit. So for example, net would be minus salaries, minus any monthly ongoing costs. We look at long form channel and short form channel performance. I believe every business needs both. Short form would be like your socials, long form would be like a podcast, a newsletter, a YouTube channel like this. We need to look at website performance, like how many monthly visitors, what is the bounce rate, where are people going when they land on the site. Opt-in rate, how many people, all of those people land on the site actually inquire for a quote, and that's the main way that we get inquiries. Conversion rate, how many of those leads actually turn into paying customers. Average deal size, so if we look at what is the average revenue generated per customer. Customer retention rate, how many people come back, and then what is our referral rate, which is the percentage of new customers coming from an existing client referral. So all of this is so key, especially to move on to number 2, because if we want to reverse engineer what our goal is, we need to know all of these numbers so specifically. So let's head back to the whiteboard and I will show you number 2, which is basically picking your main goal and reverse engineering it. So we're back at our whiteboard. We're going to work out what is the goal that you want to achieve, and then we're going to reverse engineer exactly how to achieve that. Now, for most businesses, their main goal is a sales goal, and it's also for my business too. Sometimes we have a dual goal, and it is a public facing and an internal. Our public facing would always be that sales goal, and our internal goal might be to playbook a part of the business or a system or a process or something internally that has to shift. But in terms of reaching those sales goals, this is going to show you why it's so important to know your numbers. So let's take a look at this, let's break it down, and let's look at my example. So let's say that your sales goal for the quarter is 25,000. 25k is what you want to generate in quarter 4. Now, from the data that we looked at what is your average deal size per customer. Now, let's say you work this out and your average is 5k, okay? Your average is 5k. Now, what that means is that we need to think about, right, how many clients do I need to acquire? So how many clients would that be? 25 divided by 5, I would need 5, basically properties to stage. Now, let's assume worst case scenario and that all these properties are just from one individual client each. Now, sometimes you'll get a client and they've got 5 properties at once. Eureka, that's what we want. But let's say worst case scenario. So we need 5 clients to get the 25k goal. This is when we start to read the data and look at how do we make this happen. So to get 5 people saying yes, I need to look at how many people do I need to inquire to get 5 to say yes. Now let's say, I've got some notes here, I convert 25% of the people that inquire. So I convert 25% of inquiries, and I need 5 people to say yes. That means that that's a quarter, so I need 20 leads or inquiries, right? So I need 20 leads. Now, what number do I need to reverse engineer to get 20 leads? Well, to get 20 leads, I know that 50% of the people that land on my website convert into an inquiry, okay? Which means I need to double this. I need 40 website visitors, okay? 40 website visitors. Now, to get 40 website visitors, I know from my data how many people click through to my website from, let's say, a social media post. So I've got social media posts, I need 40 website visitors. Let's say every single post I do, I get 2 clicks. That means I would need how many social media posts? If each one gets 2 clicks, I would need 20 social media posts. So at this point, I now know that what I need to do in order to generate this goal up top is I need to create 20 pieces of social media content in Q4 in order to hit that goal. Now, it might be different metrics to this. It might not be social media posts. It might be that you need to personally reach out to 40 people. Whatever your metrics are will be reverse engineered in this equation. But this is exactly how we can work out how systematically, strategically, am I going to get here, rather than just waking up and saying, in this quarter, I want to generate 25k. Well, how specifically are you going to do that step by step? Then we're into step 3 of the process. Step 3 of the process is building this out in like a rock solid calendar of when in the months are these tasks going to be scheduled. So for example, one thing I would actually calendar out for myself is I would calendar out when I'm going to write these 20 social media posts and what those 20 social media posts are and when they're going to happen. Now, let's say this was my equation. I'm going to do more than 20 because I want to make sure that even if these percentages decrease, then I'm still going to hit the goal. I might do 40. It's still not even 1 post a day over the quarter. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going over and above of what I can create. I was at a mastermind earlier this year in Boise, and Russell Brunson and Steve J. Larson said that the how often you pitch will be the result of your sales. So the more often you pitch, the more successful and the more money and the more sales you will make. And so if my answer is 20, I might want to be doing that 40 or 60 times, right? Other things I might want to calendar into my next 3 months are sales events. These are like condensed periods of time where I can really ramp up sales. For like, I could do something like open houses at properties I've staged, do like a workshop for local real estate agents. I could do like an online webinar. I could put together an offer and do a big campaign around it. And then I also want to be calendaring in something like an outreach goal. How many people do I personally want to be outbound reaching out to every single day, week, month in order to hit this goal? This is exactly how you plan out for a Q4. Let me know if this was helpful for you in the comments, comment below, and go and grab one of our free resources, because we have got so much at your fingertips to be able to help you in launching and scaling your staging business.